I call to order the meeting of the Mayor and Council Borough of River Edge, regular meeting of September 22nd, 2021. I ask for a moment of silence, especially for Chris Lau, who passed, who on the record, and for all those others who might have passed since our last council meeting that we might wish to remember in our thoughts and prayers. Our flag is over there, so if you could all turn and face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, statement of compliance with the Open Public Meeting Act is a required statement. This meeting complies with the Open Public Meeting Act by notification on January 8th of this location, date, and time to the Ridgewood News and the Record, and by posting of the same on the municipal bulletin board and the borough website, and filing a notice of the same with the borough, municipal clerk. I will do the roll call for this outside beginning of the meeting. Council President Kanigo.
Here.
Councilwoman Basile. Councilman Joseph Gaudier. We're going to assume he said here. Councilwoman Michelle Coffin.
Here.
Councilwoman Kinsella.
Here.
Councilwoman Montesano.
Here.
All right, very good. We are going to move our one of our ordinances to the beginning of the meeting so that we can celebrate the promotion of Lieutenant Casey to town case. So we're going to go to the second reading. Ordinance 21-23, an ordinance amending the revised general ordinance of the Borough of River Edge, Chapter 71, entitled Police Department. We need to first open to the public on this matter. So could I have a motion by Councilman Kinsella and a second by Council President Kanigo to open ordinance 21-23?
Second.
The roll call. Council President Kanigo.
Yes.
Councilwoman Basile. Councilman Gaudier. Councilwoman Coffin.
Here. Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella.
Yes.
Councilwoman Montesano.
Yes.
We are now open to the public. Does any member of the public wish to ask a question or make a comment about ordinance 21-20? Yes, sir. Please state your name and your address.
I'm 685 Bolton Road.
Okay.
And I'm very happy that you promoted these officers because they are great men. And this is 1974, and I saw most of them grow up in this town. Okay, so I'm very happy that you have a new weapons going up the ladder.
Thank you for your comments. That is very good.
Unfortunately, I'm leaving this beautiful town.
Oh, we will miss you. We wish you well wherever you're going.
You're going to be happy that I'm gone.
All right then. Anyone else wish to offer a comment or ask a question about ordinance 21-23? Hearing none, I need a motion from Councilwoman Bastide and a second from Councilwoman Montesano to close to the public.
Second.
Roll call. Council President Kanigo.
Yes.
Councilwoman Bastide. Yes. Councilman Joseph Gaudier. Councilwoman Coffin.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella.
Yes.
Councilwoman Montesano.
Yes.
Very good. Now, we will move the adoption of ordinance 21-23. This ordinance changes our table of organization for our police department, and it creates a captain's position, and I believe it reduces one police officer to the overall allowed number. Yes. Very good. Thank you, Chief Walker. So, could I have a motion from Councilwoman Montesano with a second from Councilwoman Kinsella?
Second.
Roll call. Council President.
Yes.
Councilwoman Bastide.
Yes.
Councilwoman Coffin.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella.
Yes.
Councilwoman Montesano. Councilman Gaudier. Okay, it has been moved and seconded. It has now been approved unanimously. We now have a new table of organization. Yay! Okay, so now we need to move to the front of the meeting, resolution 21-270. 21-270 authorizes the promotion of Lieutenant Craig Casey to the position of police captain. So this is not open to the public, it goes to a straight vote. Councilwoman Kinsella, would you make the motion, and Council President Kanigo, would you second?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call. Council President Kanigo.
Yes.
Council President Kanigo, yes.
Yes.
Councilwoman Bastide.
Yes.
Councilman Gordier. Councilwoman Kaufman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella.
Yes.
Councilwoman Montesano.
Yes.
All right, we have now moved the promotion authorization, and so now we move to the swearing in. Mary, are you going to stay there? Or do you
Yes, I'll send the boys off. Thank you.
So, Officer Casey, before we begin, could you introduce the two gentlemen who are holding the Bible?
This is my oldest son, Becca. My oldest son.
Very good, very good. And is there anyone else you'd like to introduce real quick?
My mother, Mary Casey.
Yes.
All right, excellent. I think we're ready to begin. All right. I say your name.
I, Craig Casey,
Do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
to support the Constitution of the United States,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I
and that I
will bear true faith and allegiance
bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the government
and to the government
established in the United States
established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the
I say your name.
people. I, Craig Casey,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
as captain
as captain
of the River Edge Police Department
of the River Edge Police Department
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. Captain Casey, do you have a few words? If you do, feel free. If you don't, that's okay too.
I shouldn't play anything. No. Thank you, though.
Mary, would you like to say a few words? If you don't, you don't have to.
Well, I'd just like to say, as a citizen of the United States, I thank every one of you policemen who put your life on the line every day. May God bless you and keep you, and may the road rise to meet you, and may God always keep you in his care. Thank you.
Okay, so with the council's consent, we will adjourn for about 5 minutes or 10 minutes?
10 minutes.
10 minutes. We'll adjourn for 10 minutes and then resume the council meeting. Could I have a motion in a second to adjourn for 10 minutes?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. This is not debatable. Roll call. Council President Kanigo.
Yes.
Councilwoman Bastide. Councilman Gordier.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kaufman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella.
Yes.
Councilwoman Montesano. All right, we are adjourned for 10 minutes. I call back into order the meeting of the Mayor and Council, regular meeting of September 27th, Borough of River Edge. I believe I need to do a roll call. So, roll call.
Councilwoman Bastide.
Here.
Councilman Kanigo.
Here.
Councilman Godier.
Here.
Councilwoman Kaufman.
Here.
Councilwoman Kinsella.
Here.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen.
Here.
And Mayor Papaleo.
Here. Okay, we have, our next item is item number 7 minutes. We have, we'll do this as a block. So if any member of council, when we come to your name, needs to abstain, please say which of the items you're abstaining from due to an absence. So we're going to do approval of the minutes of the mayor and council closed session, August 9, 2021. Approval of the minutes of the mayor and council regular session meeting of September 13th, 2021. Approval of the minutes of the mayor and council closed session of September 13th, 2021. Approval of the minutes of the mayor and council closed session September 20th, 2021. Approval of minutes of the mayor and council closed council special session of September 20th, 2021. So Madam Deputy Clerk, if when you call out the name, if you can pause for a minute, just in case any member of council wishes to delineate their votes of yay or nay or abstention. Roll call.
Councilwoman Bastu,
Yes.
Councilman Kamigo,
Yes.
Councilman Godier,
I would like to abstain from B and C. I was absent from the meeting on September 13th and approve the other minutes. Thank you.
Councilwoman Kaufman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella,
Yes.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen.
Yes.
Very well. Now we move to proclamations. And the first, we have our Sam Yakovich. He is right there in the screen. And so this is a proclamation honoring him as our health officer upon his retirement. So give me a moment to read this into the record. Here it is. Proclamation. Whereas Sam Yakovich came to Mid-Bergen Regional Health Commission as an environmental specialist in 1989 and was assigned to the towns of Bogota, New Milford, and River Edge. And whereas after obtaining his master's in public health from Columbia University in 1991, Sam continued in his position as registered environmental health specialist until he was appointed health officer in October 2002 for 11 towns at the time. And whereas in 2021, Mid-Bergen Regional Health Commission provides services for 15 municipalities in Bergen County, including River Edge. And whereas over the years as public health officer, Sam has confronted many challenges over the years, and during these unprecedented times has always conducted himself in a professional manner with unwavering commitment to the Borough of River Edge and the Mid-Bergen Regional Health Commission. Whereas on the occasion of his well-deserved retirement from Mid-Bergen Regional Health Commission, the mayor and council of the Borough of River Edge desires to express sincere appreciation, recognizing and congratulations on this date. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Thomas Papaleo, Mayor of the Borough of River Edge, on behalf of the Borough Council and all residents and employees, wish to honor and thank Sam Yakovich for his many years of distinguished service. His efforts and dedication is a direct result of making River Edge a better community. We wish him good health and happiness in his retirement. Mayor Thomas Papaleo. Now, Mr. Yakovich, Sam, is having a little problem with his computer. So in order to speak, his camera may drop off. But Sam, could we have a few words?
Yes.
You need.
Okay,
There we go. Got you with
Okay.
all of it. Yes.
finally working. Very good. Well, thank you so much, Mayor Papaleo, and the entire mayor and council. I really appreciate it. It's been my privilege to be working in River Edge. We've had our home base here in River Edge for most of our time, although we're tucked away in the health department. Many people may not know what Mid-Bergen is, but thank you for explaining it a little bit. I've been in River Edge since 1989. It's been a long time. Time flies. Thank you so much. I couldn't have done it, of course, without the great staff we have in the health department with Adrian and Arlene. I have to thank them as well. And also to the Board of Health. I've known many different Board of Health members over the years. And we got a very good current group. And I'd just like to thank them all for their support over the years. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Sam. We really appreciate it.
Thanks again.
Does any member of council wish to add or amend anything that we've said so far? Not amend, add or expound upon anything that we've said? Sam, I know that the entire council wishes you well, and you have a great one. Now, Sam, if you want to stay for the rest of the meeting, you are welcome to do that.
Mayor,
I got to prepare for my Board of Health meeting at 7:30.
That's right. That's right.
Mayor, could I say a few words?
Sure, absolutely.
I'd like to congratulate you. I'd like to congratulate you, Sam. You've been a great health officer for us here in River Edge, and the past year and a half has certainly not been the easiest time to be a health officer. But you carried us through those tough times, and congratulations on your retirement. Enjoy.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate those kind words.
All right. Thank you,
Okay.
Sam.
Okay. All stay safe and be well. Thank you again.
We will. Thank you.
Thank you.
So our next proclamation is declaring the month of October as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Who will be accepting this proclamation? All right. Well, we'll decide that later. Let me read the proclamation to the record. Proclamation. Whereas in the United States, breast cancer is the third most common cause of cancer death after lung cancer and colon cancer. And whereas during the National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we renew our commitment to fight this disease, raising awareness and supporting those afflicted by breast cancer. And whereas death rates from breast cancer have been declining, and this change is believed to be the results of early detection and improved treatment. And whereas mammograms and x-rays of the breast is recognized as a single most effective method of detecting breast changes that may be cancer long before physical symptoms can be seen or felt. And whereas October 15, 2021 is National Mammogram Day, a day set aside to promote the importance of regular screening in the early detection and prompt treatment of breast cancer. And whereas, as we recognize the innovation, life-saving work of the medical professions through their efforts to prevent, detect, and treat, make a difference in the lives of our citizens. And whereas it is important to continue the fight against breast cancer and to reduce the risk of this disease among our citizens, now therefore be it resolved that I, Thomas Papaleo, Mayor of the Borough of River Edge, on behalf of the council, do proclaim October 21st as National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Now, my wife, she was in her early 20s when her mother died of breast cancer. And it was in the 70s, I believe. And she, 80s rather, 70s. And she's convinced, as well as everyone else in her family, if she had done or had, if breast cancer awareness and mammograms had been more of a regular routine, she probably wouldn't have died and died a horrific death. So this is a really important cause, and it's made a huge difference. And I'm glad that we took the time to remember and to proclaim October 2021 as National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Any member of council wish to offer a comment? All right. Our next is Fire Prevention Week. So we're going to, and we thank Chief Sanders and Chief Caridi for being present. Is there anyone else from the fire department present? Chief Sanders? I'm not sure. No, I just want to recognize them if they were. So Chiefs, proclamation. Whereas cooking, heating, and electrical fires represent 3 of the nation's leading causes of home fires and are collectively responsible for nearly half of all home fires and almost 1/3 of associated fire deaths. And whereas the vast majority of home cooking, heating, and electrical fires can be prevented by taking simple safety precautions. And whereas developing a home fire escape plan and practicing it at least twice a year are critical in escaping a fire situation. Whereas proper installation, testing, and maintenance of smoke alarms are part of a thorough home fire escape plan. And whereas by preventing the leading cause of home fires and by developing and practicing a thorough home fire escape plan, people can greatly reduce their risk to fire. And whereas the Fire Prevention Week 2021 theme is Learn the Sound of Fire Safety. encourages the public to develop a home fire escape plan and make sure they have working smoke alarms. Whereas the fire service of the Borough of River Edge is dedicated to the safety of life and property from the devastating effect of fire. And whereas the members of the fire service are joined by other concerned citizens of this Borough of River Edge, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, as well as other emergency service providers and safety advocates, businesses, schools, service clubs, and organizations in their fire safety efforts. Therefore, let it be resolved that I, Thomas Papaleo, Mayor of the Borough of River Edge, do hereby proclaim the week of October 3rd through 9th, 2021 as Fire Prevention Week. This week commemorates the Great Chicago Fire of 1871, which killed more than 250 persons, left 100,000 homeless, and destroyed more than 17,400 buildings. Whereas I'm calling upon the people of the Borough of River Edge to participate in fire prevention activities, home, work, and school, and to take steps needed to make their homes and families safe from the leading cause of home fires, which include cooking, heating, electrical fires, and plan and practice their home fire escape. I, Thomas Papaleo, Mayor of River Edge. Chief Sanders, Chief Caridi, would either of you like to make a comment?
Thank you, Mayor. As I like to thank the council and yourself for your continued support. This year, you had mentioned it's the sounds of smoke alarms and CO alarms. And with people being conscious of that, it helps make our job a little bit easier every year. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yep, Mayor, hi. Hi, everybody. Thank you for this proclamation. This is the 99th anniversary of Fire Prevention Week. It was first started in 1922. And obviously next year will be 100 years. So I'm sure the National Fire Protection Association will do something to honor the 100 years. But I just want to remind everybody that's watching this, everybody on the panel, smoke detectors do save lives, along with carbon monoxide detectors. We're coming into heating season shortly. Before you know it, we'll be turning the furnaces on. Make sure you have your furnaces inspected. Make sure you have at least 3 to 4 feet clearance around the furnace, around the hot water heater. Make sure you have a carbon monoxide detector on every level of your home. And one thing that we preach to the kids during our fire ed program and to adults is the slogan, close before you doze. And what that means is close your bedroom doors before you go to bed. And there's plenty of videos on YouTube that you can look where there's been fires in houses and people's lives have been saved by keeping their bedroom door closed. I make sure our basement door is closed. So if you have a garage entrance into your house, make sure that door is closed. So just more fire safety awareness. And thank you for the proclamation.
Welcome. Any member of council would like to offer a comment? All right. Thank you, Chiefs. You're welcome to stay if you wish to. We're going to change you back from panelists to attendees in a moment, but you are welcome to stay. Proclamation. This is September 15th through October 15th, 2021 as National Hispanic Heritage Month. Is there anyone who will be accepting that? Oh, great. Ms. Torres, thank you, Mrs. Torres. We really appreciate it. Proclamation. Whereas more than 50 years after the United States first observed what was then the National Hispanic Heritage Week, Hispanics represent a vibrant and thriving part of our diverse nation. Their histories and cultures stretch across centuries, and from the contributions of those who come to our shores today and in search of their dreams, continue to add new chapters in our national story. And whereas America has always drawn its strength from the contributions of a diverse people, and throughout our nation, Hispanics are advancing our economy, improving our communities, and bettering our country. And whereas during National Hispanic Heritage Month, we renew our commitment to ensuring ours remains a society where the talents and potential of all its members can be fully realized. And whereas the Hispanic Heritage Month is a time to honor the rich heritage of the Hispanic community and celebrate its countless achievements as we celebrate the rich and vibrant traditions of faith, family, hard work, and patriotism within their communities. Therefore, I, Thomas Papaleo, Mayor of the Borough of River Edge, do hereby proclaim September 15th to October 15th, 2021 as National Hispanic Heritage Month, as we honor the contributions of the Hispanic community to the borough. I, Thomas Papaleo. Mrs. Torres.
Thank
Would
you,
you like to
Mayor. Yes, thank you so much. I feel very honored and happy. Thank you for those words. Thank you for having this proclamation. It means a lot to my heritage, my community. It's a pleasure being here in River Edge and always trying to bring out the best of our community. So I really appreciate this proclamation. Thank you so much. I just want to share what is the theme for this year for the Hispanic Heritage Month, because I think it has a lot of wisdom and something we can all use right now. It says, reflect on how great our tomorrow can be if we hold on to our resilience and hope.
Oh, I like that. That is
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Does any member of council wish to expound on the thoughts that have been, or add to the thoughts that have been offered so far?
I do, Mayor. I just want, on behalf of the Hispanic and Latino community of River Edge, thank Lisbeth for accepting this proclamation on our behalf. Thank you.
My honor. Thank you.
All right. Well, Lisbeth, Mrs. Torres, if you'd like to stay, you're welcome to. We're going to move you from a panelist to an attendee at this point. Feel free to stay if you'd like to. Thank you. And this proclamation will be with the clerk's office, and you can stop by any business day and pick it up.
I'll do that. Thank you, everyone.
Right.
Take care. Bye.
Okay, everybody, we are now up to item number 9 for discussion. Item A, New Jersey EV, which means electrical vehicle charging station law. Lizette, Miss Apatella, would you like to take that?
Yes, our zoning officer, Tom Behrens, wanted to bring to the governing body's attention that over the course of the summer, the municipal land use law changed with new requirements for the installation of electric vehicle charging stations. As part of this regulation, there is the opportunity for municipalities to make some adjustments, and the Division of Community Affairs came out with a model ordinance. The only sections that cannot be changed are the portions that involve approvals and permits, installation requirements, and minimum parking requirements. So it's up to the governing body to determine if you wish to move forward to make any amendments and tailor it towards the borough's needs where applicable. And if so, then it would need to be forwarded to the land use board for their input.
Mr. Sola, would you like to offer comment?
Sure. So the law is if you have a application and part of the application has electric charging parking stations, the application cannot be denied based on that aspect of the application. They are now considered accessory permitted uses. So you cannot now say, because the application has an electric vehicle charging parking space, it is you require a use variance. It's now considered an accessory use. The law is pretty straightforward. It's in effect that if somebody comes in front of the land use board now with an application with this parking space, again, it's going to be they cannot not deny it based on that. It's considered an approved use. The law allows towns to adopt their own ordinance to modify it somewhat, although limited modifications, and that would include like signage, setbacks, things like that. So it would allow you to do that. So eventually down the line, yes, you should consider it. The planning board should have, obviously will have input in it. But unless you have, or you think you have applications coming up with these electric vehicle charging parking spaces in applications immediately, it's something that doesn't need to be addressed ASAP.
All right, so if I'm getting the gist, you're saying this is something we might want to consider in the future, but we really don't need to consider at this time.
It's correct. It's not something that is urgent. It's something that you would consider. Again, the law is the law. This gives you some flexibility to put some restrictions on signage, lighting of the station, setbacks, things like that. So it gives the land use board. So again, we could start working on it if you want a proposed ordinance, a draft ordinance, and then we could send it to the planning board for their review. But again,
Okay.
it's not an urgent thing for you guys to consider.
So any comments from council?
Do we know what other towns are doing in terms of usage fees?
So there are no usage fees. You can't charge a usage fee on a private application.
Okay.
So these are private applications that's coming from the planning board and saying, we're going to build a 30-unit residential building. And 5 of these parking spaces are going to be electric vehicle charging stations. At that point, the planning board cannot say, well, even though a 30-story or 30 thing is residential is a permitted use, it's now no longer a permitted use because you have these 5 charging stations. So we can't charge for that. Again, if it's private applications coming in front of the planning board. Now, if the town down the line ends up installing electric vehicle parking spots in any parking lot or on public streets, then yes, you could start charging for that use. But you can't charge for this because it's private development.
Any other? Council President Kanigo?
Yeah, obviously being on the land use board, I know that they have a lot on their plate. They're contemplating some changes to some allowable uses of property and such. I'm afraid that if we don't get ahead of this, it'll get kind of lost in the shuffle. So I would say if at some point it's going to have to be sent to the land use board, let's send it to them now. Let them start looking at it. Let them start thinking about it. They'll, let them know there's no priority, but have it in front of them. Why not?
And what is the feeling of the rest of the council? Are they in agreement or disagreement, or do they have another thought? Okay, guys, you can't simply nod.
Yeah, I have no objection to moving forward as council president has suggested. I just did have one question, if I could. Was any of this, or did any of this need to be included in the update of the master plan?
No, because it's a state law, so it's just going to be an ordinance amending any zoning for like parking spaces or traffic. So no, this will have nothing to do with your master plan.
Okay, thanks.
You may see applicants put these in for the simple fact when you're reading it. It's an interesting thing is if they're short parking spaces for a variance, to promote these electric vehicle charging stations, I believe 1 space actually counts for 5 parking spaces. So if an applicant is short 10 parking spaces and he puts 2 of these EV charging stations in, he now no longer requires a parking variance. It makes actually absolutely no sense because where your other 8 cars going to park and or 10 cars if no one has this, but that's in the ordinance that obviously we can't do anything about. That can't be changed. But I found that interesting in trying to promote these charging stations. Sometimes, maybe I'm going outside here, sometimes they do too much to promote it and it hurts the municipality on the back end. But I'll prepare an ordinance for your review.
Good. So I'll just ask a quick, is there any objection to preparing an ordinance at this point?
No.
Hearing none?
No. Mr. Mayor, I do have a question.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Lisa, sure. Councilwoman Monsanto.
So I didn't finish reading the requirements, but I guess it's for Lisette's questions. Does this impact in any way the charging stations that are being considered for the lot on Continental? there are any requirements that were not taken into account back then that we should then be mindful of right now?
No, unless the governing body wants to charge for the stations. A lot of places, what they do is instead of charging, they allow for a year or so to see how it works. Also, there are companies that have arrangements, like I know our DPW superintendent is looking into Tesla charging stations. So since this technology is still relatively new in this area, there are no requirements on our end. It's just that if we want to impose a fee, there is language in this ordinance that in addition to a parking fee, you could charge, you could set up the charge for using the station itself.
Councilwoman, are you, is the ones you're talking about, are they municipal owned charging stations?
Yes, we're looking into either through PSE&G or Tesla.
So I'll forward you a ordinance that was recently adopted by the Borough of Rutherford that I'm familiar with. And it's for public charging stations. And it could give you some nice guidance about how you want to do that. And the reason you do want to adopt an ordinance is you want, obviously, if somebody parks there and they don't have a electric vehicle, you want some type of fines that the officer can issue a fine. It's almost like handicap parking. So you would like some fines, so you'd want an ordinance. But for that, for public, I can provide you with the ordinance that I'm familiar with, that was recently adopted. It could give you a roadmap. And if you want to go that way too, it's a separate ordinance, but we certainly, after you review this ordinance, we could start working on that also.
So without objection, we'll have Mr. Sarla do that. Is there objection? Hearing none, it's so approved. Any other comments or questions? All right then. We move on to a banner request from the First Congregational Church to place a banner at the Y on the River Edge Road to promote the pumpkin patch for October 1st through October 31st. I believe we've done this in the past, and I think this is a worthy cause. I ask the council to consider this favorably.
No
Okay.
objection.
So is there any objection?
No
Hearing
objection.
none?
No objection.
Great. Hearing none, no, so approved. Now we have a request from the Girl Scouts to use the public safety meeting room. Again, if there is space available, I hope the council will look favorably on this and allow the Girl Scouts to have their meetings in the public safety meeting room. Of course, giving priority to our commissions, boards, and committees. But if there is availability, I think this is a worthy thing for us to be able to do. What is the council's feeling?
Just starting immediately?
Lizette, would it start immediately?
It would be up to the governing body since none of the commissions or committees are meeting. I would recommend holding off on it. They're looking to do it from September through May. We could let them know that we'll reconsider this request when we discuss the status of borough meetings later this year for 2022.
Personally, I think that makes sense. We've said that we're not holding meetings in person, so we shouldn't be allowing other organizations to hold meetings in person at this time. And I mean, we see every day on the news, COVID is still ongoing. The crisis is still going, so.
No, you're right, Council President. I guess I misspoke. I meant when we return to having meetings in the building that so that we could grant them permission as soon as we return to meetings in the building.
That's fine.
Yeah. Is there objection? Hearing none, so approved. Okay, there is a request from the Riverdale Project Graduation to place a message on the Borough Message Board promoting a fundraiser event on October 9th. This is a little bit more tricky. We have, I don't know if we have a history on this, and Ms. Apertella can certainly If she knows, give us some, but doing a fundraiser on the municipal bulletin board is then granting, then if other groups should want to do the same, we would, for all intended purpose, had to agree to that. So Lizette, could you speak to that for a few minutes? A few moments, rather?
I don't have the borough history on this, but again, that's something for the governing body to consider. Once you grant one request, then it makes it difficult if some type of organization may not be comfortable with will seek permission to post something on the message board.
We have permitted this. I don't know if other Riverdale Project graduation events have been on the message board. There was a clothing collection and those types of things. They have been there before.
Okay, so the question is, do we wish to permit this or do we wish to prohibit this going forward for all groups? Because it's either all or nothing. Either we will continue to allow groups to advertise on our borough message board, or we shall not. What is the thoughts of the council?
My thought process is that I find that board mostly useless. When I'm driving by, it's too small and to see as you're driving and walking. I don't know. I mean, how often do people really walk by? That being said, at some point, some council invested in it and thought it was a good idea, and maybe they did so thinking all the best. It turned out not to be great. If we're going to have the board out there, let people use it and just have a disclaimer on our form that says, you know, nothing here is endorsed by the council, and obviously, you know, a disclaimer saying that we have to approve it. So if there's something that we feel may be inflammatory, that we feel may be inappropriate, then we still retain control over whether it's going to go out there or not. And then, you know, we'll take our direction from our attorney and take our lumps if we make the wrong decision. But if we have it and we invested in it, might as well, you know, whoever can see it, it's not me as I'm driving by, but whoever else can see it, might as well get use out of it.
Other thoughts?
I agree. I think we should allow them to advertise a fundraising event.
I have no objection.
All right,
No objection.
all right,
Objection.
all right. It's so approved then. Okay, so now we move on to, is there any other items for discussion that may have come up, Mrs. Apatella? No? All right, great. So we move to public comments on any item on the agenda. Could I have Council President Canigo move and Councilwoman Stella second to open to the public?
So moved.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Bastigue.
Yes.
Councilman Inigo.
Yes.
Councilman Godier.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kaufman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella.
Yes.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen.
Yes.
Okay, so we're now open to the public. Our moderator is Councilwoman Kaufman. Councilwoman Kaufman, would you please manage this for us?
Sure. So if anyone has any questions, just raise your hand and I'll let you speak, or you can type them in the chat box. Doesn't look like there are any.
Okay, could I have Councilwoman Montesano Cohen move and Councilwoman Bastide second to close to the public on any item on the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Bastigue.
Yes.
Inigo.
Yes.
Councilman Godier.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kaufman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella.
Yes.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen.
Yes.
All right, we now move to item 11 on our revised agenda. So on the revised agenda, we've added an item B. Of course, I'm going to read all the items and we're going to move them as a group. So could I have Councilman Godier move and Councilwoman Kaufman second when I finish reading items A through D. Okay. And if any member of council, but before, any member of council wish to pull out for a separate vote, A, B, C, or D? Hearing none, we'll move the entire block. Excuse me, I need to silence my phone. I apologize about that. Here we go. Approve the salary increase of Eric Schultz, equipment operator, one in the Department of Public Works, from an annual salary of $79,468 to $79,948 due to an increase in longevity from 1,920 to 2,400, effective October 21st, 2021. Approve the salary increase in job title change of Daniel Decker, Decker, from Labor 2, Step 5, $50,297 to Operator 2, Step 1, $64,630, effective September 20th, 2021. We've already, we're now approving the promotion and salary. Approve the promotion and salary change of Craig Casey from lieutenant to captain with an annual salary of $144,443 plus holiday pay and longevity, effective September 27, 2021. And finally, approve the resignation of Andrew Lieb, I believe, crossing guard, effective 9/21/21. Could I have a motion a second?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call.
Councilwoman Bastu.
Yes.
Councilman Kanigo.
Yes.
Councilman Godier.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kaufman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella.
Yes.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen.
Yes.
All right, then, we are now, that was approved unanimously. We're now up to item number 12, first reading ordinance. Could I have Councilwoman Bastide move when I finish reading this and Councilwoman Kaufman second? This is ordinance 2125, an ordinance amending the revised general ordinance of the Borough of River Edge, chapter 33, entitled Fire Department.
So moved.
Second.
This is debatable. We will first have Ms. Apicella, if she could just give us a synopsis for the public's benefit.
This ordinance updates the portion of the code, chapter 33, entitled Fire Department in its entirety. There's several portions being updated, ranging from attendance, chief's duties, other officer duties, elections, membership classifications, leaves of absence, and discipline. So it is a full revamp of the current portion of the code.
Okay, this is not open to the public. It will be open to the public when we move to a second reading, but it is open to debate. Does any member of council wish to debate before we take a vote?
Just have a question.
Sure.
Just for the public's edification, maybe Ms. Arpatella can tell us who worked on this particular ordinance, so that everybody knows that everybody who needed to get input into this ordinance was consulted.
The draft was provided by our Fire Chief Sanders after consultation with members of the fire department. And I just molded it into ordinance format, and it had been reviewed by both our borough attorney and labor council.
I just wanted, for the public's edification, to know that it's been vetted by all the proper authorities. It's not just a council run amok that's changing laws and rules and things of that nature. Thank you.
All right. Okay, so is there any other debate or question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilwoman Bastu.
Yes.
Councilman Kanigo.
Yes.
Councilman Godier.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kaufman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella.
Yes.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen.
Yes.
Okay, we come to item number 13 on our agenda, second reading and hearing on ordinances. This is, could I have Councilwoman Kaufman move and Councilman Gaudier second when we come to opening to the public? So second reading and hearing on the ordinance 21-24, ordinance to amend chapter 360 of the revised general ordinance of the Borough of River Edge entitled Stormwater Control.
So moved.
Second.
Before we go to a vote, if our borough administrator, Ms. Apatola, could give the public just a brief synopsis.
This ordinance is to meet not just a state requirement from earlier this year involving stormwater control. It had been reviewed by the county officials, and there were a few changes that needed to be incorporated. And by adopting this ordinance, I will forward it over to the county and we will be completely in compliance.
All right, then. A roll call.
Councilwoman Bastu,
Yes.
Councilman Kamigo,
Yes.
Councilman Godier,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kaufman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella,
Yes.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen.
Yes.
All right, Councilwoman Kaufman, as our moderator, would you please open to the public for us?
So if anyone has any questions, please raise your hand and I will allow you to speak, and or you can type them in the chat box. Does not look like we have any questions.
All right, then. Could I have Councilwoman Kinsella move and Councilman Montesano Cohen second to close to the public?
So moved.
Second.
This is not debatable. Roll call.
Councilwoman Bastu,
Yes.
Kamigo,
Yes.
Councilman Godier,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kaufman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella,
Yes.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen.
Yes.
Okay, we need to move to adoption. Could I have Councilman Gaudier move and Councilwoman Bastide second to adopt ordinance 21-24?
So moved.
Second.
This is debatable. Is there debate? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilwoman Bastu,
Yes.
Councilman Kamigo,
Yes.
Godier,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kaufman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella,
Yes.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen.
Yes.
Okay, could I have Councilwoman Kaufman move and Council President Kanigo second resolutions 21-271 through 21-278?
So moved.
Second.
This is debatable. Is there debate, question, or comment?
I just had a question on 276. Why, this isn't something we see every day. Why is this specific person asking for that stormwater drainage license agreement?
At the request of the borough engineer. I believe there's either being work done on that or they're building a residence there and they need to connect to the stormwater, the municipal stormwater drainage system. So we put an agreement in place that it is their responsibility in case anything goes wrong with it. They're on the hook. We're not on the hook for future.
So it's question of liability.
It protects us, correct?
Yes.
We just don't let them tap in. We put the burden on them to maintain it going forward.
Right.
You probably don't see it much because there's not usually majority, obviously, of the houses, and I believe that's the case, are already connected to the sewer system or the stormwater system, not the sewer.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and good. Any other questions or debate? All right. Roll call.
Yes.
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 Okay, resolution 21-279, payment of the bills. Could I have our finance chairperson, Councilwoman Kaufman, move and Councilman Gaudier second?
At a regular meeting of the Mayor and Council of the Borough of River Edge, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, held on September 27, 2021, be it resolved that the Mayor and Council of the Borough of River Edge approve the following expenditures. Current fund, $216,773.16. Capital fund, $26,651.28. Grant fund, $4,863.60. Trust other fund, $9,659.17. Developers escrow fund, $750. Self-insurance fund, $66.13. Recreation trust fund, $1,758.94. So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Bastu,
Yes.
Councilman Canito,
Yes.
Councilman Godier,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hoffman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella,
Yes.
Woman Montesano Cohen.
Yes.
Okay, we are at item number 16 on our new revised agenda, new business. Is there any new business? There's none listed on the agenda and there's none coming from the floor. So we'll move to item number 17, old
Actu-
business.
Actually, I don't know if this would be new business or old business, but earlier when I was at Borough Hall, I was speaking to Neil Carroll, who I believe is on here, and he was voicing a concern on the construction that's going on at the Continental. So perhaps if we can ask Mr. Carroll to speak to that, and Lizette, maybe you can answer whatever his concerns are.
So in order for him to do that, the council would have to open to the public again. So we need, and a second,
Second.
roll call.
Yes.
Councilman Canito,
Yes.
Councilman Godier,
Yes.
Woman Hoffman,
Yes.
Woman Kinsella,
Yes.
Yes.
All right, Neil, could you say your name and address and you can address the council?
Neil Carroll, 321 Wales Avenue, River Edge.
All right, Mr. Carroll, you have the floor.
I was just concerned driving down to the Borough Hall this evening. I found out on Continental Avenue, the bump outs are on both sides of the street. And I know Traffic and Safety had asked for no bump outs. And we were told there had to be the one bump out on the north side of the street. But currently there is a bump out on both sides of the street. So I was just curious how that came about.
Ms. Albertella, could you, if you have the information, could you share it? If not, could you get back to Mr. Carroll later?
Yes, I would have to verify with the engineer's office. I know there was a bump out for our ambulance corps, but as far as both sides of the street, I would have to respond to Mr. Carroll sometime later tomorrow or Wednesday.
Mr. Carroll, is that satisfactory?
That's fine, Mayor.
All
I
right.
apologize for putting you on the spot, Neil, and Lizette as well. But since the construction is ongoing right now, if it's something that was perhaps done in error, I'm not saying it was or it wasn't because I have no idea. But if it was, being that it's going on now, maybe it can be corrected at minimal cost if it's an error. And if it's not, then it's fine, and then so be it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome,
Thanks, Neil.
Neil. We need
Thank
to
you all.
close to the public. Can I have a motion and second to close to the public?
So moved.
Second.
All right, let's close to the public. Roll call.
Councilwoman Bastu,
Yes.
Councilman Canito,
Yes.
Councilman Godier,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hoffman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella,
Yes.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen.
Yes.
All right, great. So now we're up to old business, item 17 on the agenda. Score reopening. What member of council or is the BA going to be addressing that?
Lizette, do you want to start or do you want me to just speak to it?
I'll start. At the last meeting, there was discussion about SCORE resuming their services, their meeting services at the temple, and it was a discussion that it was more of a social interaction as opposed to a formal committee meeting. So I was tasked to reach out to the temple to find out their cleaning schedule, if there's vaccination requirements, masking requirements. And the temple immediately responded back. They said it's cleaned professionally 3 times a week. As far as for their services, for their high holy services, they do require proof of vaccination, but for all other services, they are requiring it, but not to present the proof. They require all their teachers and staff to be vaccinated. For their tenants, they would leave it up to the borough to suggest whether or not proof of vaccination will be required. They're not in the position to enforce that, but masks are required at all times in the building.
And just to further go along with what Ms. Apatello just said, I reached out to the Ma's, who are the president and vice president of SCORE, and all but 2 are members of SCORE are vaccinated, and they intend to hold meetings with only vaccinated members or social events.
So what is the council's thinking on this?
I would be fine with it as long as we have some sort of, I don't even know if we need it. Tom Sarlo, Mr. Sarlo, maybe you can tell us, do we need some sort of release or indemnity agreement from the members saying that if anything happens, the town's not responsible, they're doing this voluntarily, or?
I don't think we need that.
Okay, then with what I've read so far, understanding how difficult it's been on the seniors, I would make the one exception for this particular meeting.
I agree. I think we should allow them to meet since there'll only be vaccinated people there.
Agreed.
Councilwoman Bassid, Councilwoman Montesano Cohen, do you have any thoughts you wish to offer? You don't have to, but if you wish to, you may.
Just, I'm pleased that the council is moving in this direction, and I wholeheartedly support it.
I support them moving ahead so they can meet finally.
Okay, I think that's a unanimous consent, so we'll move on to vaccination policy. Ms. Apatow.
Before we move forward, I have a procedural question. In order for them to use the temple, there is some type of rental agreement that is done.
It would need to be prorated for what was left of the year, and then another agreement would need to be constituted for the following year.
Okay.
Is the council in agreement?
Yes.
Mr. Sarlo, are you in agreement?
Yeah, I don't believe we have an agreement. Do we have an agreement for this year? We should. We usually do it in-
No, I think the last agreement was either 19 or early 20 for 2020 services, but nothing had been put in place for 21.
Yeah, I believe the temple's going to probably want an agreement.
Yeah.
So as long as there's no changes, we're just pretty much changing the dates on it.
And Mr. Sarlo, I had stated that it would be prorated for this year and not for the following year, and that would be in keeping, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Obviously, we haven't used it, and we don't even have an agreement, so we would just put in there the prorated amount for the remaining 3 months.
Is there objection? Is any member of council in objection? Hearing none, so approved. Vaccine policy.
At the last meeting, the governing body determined to implement a mandatory vaccine requirement, but subsequently, either that night or the following day, it had been reported in the news that the federal executive order would also apply to state and local government workers in 26 states. And New Jersey would be one of those states. And so the federal government tasked OSHA to come up with guidelines and requirements for federal employees and the 26 states to follow. So in speaking with our borough attorney, I had recommended that instead of implementing a policy in case OSHA rules are different, deviate either a little or a lot, instead of presenting one thing to the employees and then having to change it within a couple of weeks. It's better to just wait and see what these rules are.
It seems reasonable. What is the council's thought?
Makes sense.
Let me rephrase it. Is there any objection to us placing on hold pending OSHA's findings?
Objection.
All right, great.
Objection.
No.
So without objection, it is so moved. All right, is there any other old business that any member of council wishes to bring up? Hearing none, we move to item 18, open public comments. Could I have a motion and second from anyone on council to open for any comment from the public?
So moved.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call.
Councilwoman Baskey.
Yes.
Yes.
Councilman Godier.
Yes.
Woman Kaufman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella.
Yes.
Councilwoman Montesano Cohen.
Yes.
All right, we're open to the public. Councilwoman Kaufman.
So if anyone has any comment, please raise your hand and I will allow you to speak. Does not look like there are any comments.
Very good. Could I have a motion from anyone and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Baskey.
Yes.
Councilman Kaniga.
Yes.
Councilman Godier.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kaufman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella.
Yes.
Woman Montesano Cohen.
Yes.
Does any member of council wish to make a comment? If not, we will move to 21-280.
I do, Mayor.
Sure, go ahead,
Just
Councilwoman.
want
Matsui.
to, thank you. I just want to remind the residents, whomever is listening or watching this, that River Edge Day is next Sunday, October 3rd, between 1 and 4 p.m. at Memorial Park. I wanted to congratulate now Captain Casey and wishing him well on his new role. Thank you.
Any other member of council?
Yes, Mayor.
Sure.
I would also like to congratulate Captain Casey as well as, again, our health officer, Sam Yanovich, on his retirement. And I would like to mention that styrofoam collection and paper shredding will be available this Saturday at the DPW yard from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Thank you.
All right. Any other member of council? All right, then, let's move on to resolution 21-280. Could I have Councilwoman Bastide move and Councilwoman Kaufman second when I finish reading? Resolution to go into closed session and exclude the public. 21-9/27-1, attorney-client privilege interlocal service agreement. 21-9/27-2, attorney-client privilege shared service agreement renewal.
So moved.
Second.
This is not debatable. Roll call.
Councilwoman Baskey.
Yes.
Yes.
Councilman Godier.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kaufman.
Yes.
Woman Kinsella.
Yes.
Montesano Cohen.
Yes.
All right, now we move to adjourn. Could I have Councilman Gaudier and Councilwoman Kinsella move and second to adjourn the public meeting? We will not be returning due to limited remote abilities, so we will be going into closed session in about 5 minutes after the adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Baskey.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Godier.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kaufman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinsella.
Yes.
Montesano Cohen.
Yes.
Well done, everyone. And we're adjourned. Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Not everybody?